What's up, everybody? Welcome to System Crafters Live. I'm David Wilson. We're back again with another Friday stream where we get together as a community and talk about whatever topic it is I've come up with for the week. And this week is no exception. No exception. This is what we do on Fridays. We just ramble for about 45 minutes. You know, I spent about 20 minutes saying hello to people and trying to think of things that are news items. And then we ramble for a while, and then we eventually talk about what we're going to do, and then we don't finish it because I've rambled too long. So that's how it goes here. You probably know that already, though. I don't know why I'm telling you. All right. Let me say hello to the people who are here so far. Hello to Case, who was the first to be here today, and thankfully he didn't ban me from my own channel. And then there's Glenn, Waxier Tape, Apurvi, Daphne's here. Nice to see you, Daphne. We'll talk about it in a minute. And to Trev, you're not in the top 5. Sorry, buddy. You should have been here earlier. Let's see. Nakotani, Einar. Who else? E-Beam. Arnaud. Trev says, come on. Okay. Case is speaking to us in Common Lisp symbol dialect, which is all capitals because it's insane. Hello, Fade. Hello, Cow. All right, who else is here on the YouTube side? Let me see who's over there. Hey, Dave. Hello to Enrico, Mike, Jerry, and Zerka over on the YouTube side. Hello to everyone who's here today. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it. Oh, boy. As you can probably tell from the sound of my voice, I'm still going through viruses and whatnot. So last week we didn't have a stream because I got a stomach virus from a kid, one of my kids. And this week we've been dealing with something else, some other kind of nasty virus that came from school. And one of the kids has been home from school all week, so that's the reason why we didn't do 2 Crafter Hour streams. It's just been a little bit crazy. So we're recovering. We're recovering from that. Faith says, hey now, insane. Yes, having your symbols be all caps whenever you when you intern them, it just seems a little bit nutty to me. I mean, why would you want to have it all caps? I don't want to be yelled at whenever I look at stack traces. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. Hello to Niklaus. Hey, Summer Emacs. Bye, Summer Emacs. Yes, it's just a meme, all right? Hey, Alternate Ved. Okay. What else? I mean, that's pretty much it. We had a pretty interesting stream on Wednesday where we did some UI development using an interesting framework. I'm not going to call it a JavaScript library. It's more of a framework, an HTML framework called Datastar. If you haven't checked that out yet, go check the recording for the Wednesday stream. It's a pretty interesting concept. I mean, it's not really that different from HTMX. If you've looked at this kind of like HTML fragment-driven, attribute-driven type of UI framework for the web. But I think Datastar does it better, and I'm quite bullish on it in terms of writing like full server-driven web interfaces using Scheme. So there's a lot of cool stuff there that we're going to try to dive into more. And we might get to it a little bit today, but I don't think so. We got some other things we want to do today that are a bit more easily at hand, let's say, okay? Serica says, drink alcohol. I'll do that later. I can't do that now, though, because I'll just be slurring my words worse than I already do when I'm sober, and then nobody will understand me. Case says, I wasn't being lispy. I was just excited. I'm excited to see you too, Case. We haven't seen you around, buddy. Where you been? Where you been? What's going on? Summer is bringing back the fisherman memes. Davidos the fish. I'm not a fisherman, but I will say, can I see myself here? Can I see myself? This stream is sponsored by, what's that? Fisherman's Friend. It's not actually sponsored by Fisherman's Friend. I'm just joking because I have this, even though I'm not a fisherman, okay? Got that? I'm not a fisherman. I don't spend my days fishing in a little schooner or whatever, you know? I'm just sitting here, okay? So if you see me or you don't see me, it's because I'm here. I'm just sitting in my chair doing something. I'm probably distracted by one of the many distractions that I find on a daily basis. Dave says, I need to check out that Datastar stream. It is interesting. It still has some of the expressions that get evaluated from attribute values, but I kind of like it. I like the way it does things a little bit better than HTMX. Kay says, you should get a boat. I don't know, man. I don't really know if I'm like the boat type of person. I kind of like sitting on stable ground in a comfortable computer chair at a desk all day. I prefer that. Okay, that's my lifestyle. I'm not really gonna go out on a boat. I've been on boats before, okay? I'm not afraid of water, I'm not afraid of the sea, but it's not really like something I'm gonna go spend money to try to engage with as a hobby or something, okay? We're getting fishing content? No, you're only getting references to Fisherman's Friend. It's really great for the throat. Is that really the best slogan I could come up with right now? It's a good thing they're not sponsoring me because I would have just like lost it right then. Dave says, now I want to listen to John the Fisherman. Kay says, I would watch fishing stream. Well, you would not see me do anything. I mean, probably I should just fish and just talk about random stuff the whole time because I'm not going to catch any fish. Alternate Vet says, I've never heard of anyone using a computer chair for fishing. Well, you know, there's a first time for everything. All right. Let's see. What am I missing here? Let me check over on the other side. Mervin says, a fisher of man, the joys of international waters. Oh boy, let's not talk about that. Dave says, I was looking at their website and noticed the expressions in HTML attributes. I'm curious how it differs from HTMX. I'm not an expert on HTMX. I've only used it like briefly, but I like the way that Datastar does the sort of interaction with the server to get things back to cause changes to the UI or the state in the UI or in the application of the UI. So I feel like it's very amenable to having the server-side code being written in Scheme. I mean, HTMX would be too, but something about Datastar just feels a little bit more right to me. Daphne says, they're always sold at the checkout at German supermarkets. Probably my home county of Lancashire's most successful export. Never had one. Yeah, they sell them in Greece at the checkouts also. They're very menthol-y. So if you like menthol, then you will like it. Hey, Mjolnir. Fishing for the most dangerous game. Oh, boy. Mervin says, today we'll begin programming cans in Lisp via robots. What is that? Oh, yeah. I should mention that. I'm sure there's a few talks from FOSDEM that I should mention. FOSDEM. Dave Thompson. Web. What is the whole title? Okay, look. At least we got there. There it is. There's Dave. Hey, Dave. Minimalist web application deployment with Scheme. I watched this talk. It's a good talk. I was expecting more deployment in the talk, but I think that I appreciate where Dave went with that. So minimalist web application deployment with Scheme. So watch D. Thompson's talk. FOSDEM talk. FOSDEM talk. There you go. I know there's more talks from the Sprightly crew at FOSDEM. I have not seen them yet, but they're probably all in the declarative and minimalistic computing room. So I see one by Andy here on the Whippet Embeddable Garbage Collection Library, which I would like to watch. This is a cool project. Other Sprightly talks. Just dropping them in the show notes for you if you want to check these out later. And I'm pretty sure Christine had a talk somewhere. Yep. Secure, collaborative, distributed future. There you go. And there's definitely some Guix talks in there too. So give those a shot as well. Guix. There's a lot of stuff, I think, in the conference in general. Oh, Shepherd Minimalism and PID 1. Definitely you should check out that one too. I haven't watched that yet. There you go. There's some FOSDEM talks for you to watch this weekend. I wish I could have been there, but you know, it's kind of difficult for me to travel out of town for a few days because I'm basically leaving my family in the lurch. So I had to use my traveling time for conferences sparingly, and I got invited to give a talk at FOSDEM in the Declarative and Minimalist Computing room, which I was very happy to get an invite to that. Thank you to Manolis and Piotr and whoever else were involved in that, but yeah, I didn't get to do it, unfortunately. Yeah, that dev room is the best one. I don't even look at anything else in the entire conference. I don't really care about FOSDEM as a whole, except for just that one track of talks. Daphne says there's a list on the Sprightly website. Yeah, thank you. I would imagine there is sprightly.institute. Probably a news post. No. About. It must be somewhere. Dave says the Shepherd and Whippet talks are great. Yeah, I want to see the Whippet one. If I ever started back working on Mesh again, I would just rip out the GC that I wrote there because it's just really crappy mark and sweep garbage collector, and I would put Whippet in there because it's going to be way, way better. Is it a news post? It must have gotten drowned out by the releases. There we go. Is it this one that they just update the links? Boom. Okay. Here we go. Thank you, Daphne. All right. Alternate Vet says, I really like your new overlay. Actually, this overlay is a year old, and I stopped using it. Why did I stop using it? Probably because I switched computers like 3 times, and then I didn't want to have to update all the stuff necessary to make it work. But over the last week, was it last week or at the beginning of this week? Either way, I redid everything so that I don't have to make an SVG file for that anymore. Now it's actually being driven by a like a web page. So the text at the top and the text here on the side is all coming from a web page, as well as the chat overlay. So all that's being driven by a Guile Scheme application that is serving it as a web page and plugging it directly into OBS. And that will eventually be using Datastar too, I think, as a way to do like a real-time application. Yeah, Ashraz. Kay says, it's okay, we call the Baton Rouge Bridge that's like 30 years old the new bridge. I thought for a second whenever I read that you said Bacon Rouge Bridge, and that actually sounds pretty good right about now. Almoveja says, looks like the right-hand side of the chat is going up the screen. Yeah, I've got some CSS adjustments to do there. Got some work to do on that. Excuse me. Thank you, Left Pad. Summer says, let's see some coding. I'm not finished yapping yet. We still got like another 20 minutes of me just talking about random stuff, right? Code, code, code. Would you stop pressuring me? Okay, I'm getting really nervous. I don't want to have you breathing down my neck the whole time while I'm trying to write code here, okay? I'm not like an experienced live coder or anything. I'll clam up and I won't be able to produce anything. I'll forget how to write a named let loop. I'll forget how to do recursion, okay? You want me to forget how to do recursion? That's really dangerous for a scheme programmer because we don't have anything else. We only have recursion, okay? Recursion and car and cooter, that's it. We're going on a fishing expedition. Yeah, I'm really fishing for topic ideas, aren't I? Just kidding. We're having sort of a holistic moment here, moving toward doing more things with Guile Scheme for web application development. And to be perfectly honest with you, I'm having a lot of fun, so we're gonna keep doing it. Jerry says, bacon. I agree. Howdy, Jerry. Oh, howdy to Emelvedia. So let's see. Copy paste works too for recursion fails. Does it? All right. So any other news? I can't even remember what's going on these days. I just happened to remember that Dave had a talk. And then everything else came from that. There's probably other things that I'm forgetting right now. You know, releases of software that are important. Can't think of anything. Yes, thank you to LeftPad, SES Copy, and Ashraz for proving Peter's point that copy paste works too if recursion fails. Gotcha. Peer pressure coding. All right, maybe that's enough news for this week. So, rebuilding the SC site in Guile Scheme. Why? If I can type correctly. The memes thread. Yeah, that's actually a good point. The memes thread. So Ashraz has helpfully put together a thread on the forum, common memes. So there's a number of memes that have been created over time in the forum as well as the streams. Yes, thank you, Ashraz. And excuse me. And if you are wondering why people are saying very strange things sometimes, either in the live stream chat or in the IRC, then you might want to check out this thread to understand it a little bit better. Check out the SC memes thread on the forum. It was kind of funny. Upper says, I came to know that Guile has a built-in logger library. Yes, actually, I was reminded of that whenever Dave told me about something else that's in Guile lib, so we should consider looking at that. I looked at the docs for it, and it seems flexible in a way that I don't really need. But that doesn't mean it's a bad thing. So because it already exists, maybe it's a good thing to try to use it. But I do like the way that you wrote the logger, A4V, with the colorization and everything. So I don't know, like if we could maintain that with using the standard logging library, that'd be cool. But Ashra says, I can now call myself content creator, alternate ved. Yes. Alternate ved asks Ashraz, aren't you behind everything that David Will does? Yes. I'm just another sock puppet account of Ashraz. All you see right now is just a perfectly crafted VTuber account that's done by the latest in AI technology. So it's not really a person. I'm just a figment of your computerized imagination. Nicolas says, have any of these videos for the Sprightly Talks been posted yet? Yes. And they did, Nicolas. If you go look at the news post on their site, I think there's links to all of them here. So you should be able to, I think they are anyway. Yeah, there's links to all of them. So the ones that have recordings, you should be able to get to those now. I'm pretty sure. Summer thinks she has doxed me as a fisherman. Only because of the lozenges. That's the only evidence you have. You have no other evidence. It's all speculation. That's not how it works. Fancy OBS theme. Yeah, it's, something I made a year ago and forgot to use and then finally started using again. Hopefully the screen's visible enough. Man, my voice is cracking like a 12-year-old. Okay, back to the point. So, if you didn't know, the System Crafters website is a static website, okay? By that, I mean all of the web pages or all the pages on this site are statically generated, and they are generated by Emacs from org mode files. I have written a script. Let's see, site. Where is it? If you go to codeberg.org/systemcrafters/systemcrafters-site, you'll see the repository for the website. And there is a publish.el script, which basically does all of the publishing for everything, including the templatization of the entire website using an SXML implementation called ESXML for Emacs Lisp. So pretty much everything we're doing already is generated from Lisp code. But more and more, I have the need to put dynamic behavior on the website. And I thought it might be interesting to attempt to port a lot of what I'm already doing with the content of the website to be done with Guile instead, using a combination of Haunt, which is a static website generator by Dave Thompson, and running an actual Guile web server, probably using Guile Fibers as the HTTP server framework. And the point there is that I kind of want to, I have two websites currently. One is systemcrafters.net and the other is guild.systemcrafters.net. You probably haven't seen this one unless you've taken one of my courses, but this site is also mostly statically generated, but it's served through Cloudflare functions so that some dynamic behavior can be enabled, but all that stuff's written in JavaScript. I really don't like it because every time I have to go back and work on it again, I forget what I did and I have to kind of refresh my context, and it's kind of a pain in the ass to deal with it. So I would like to just get everything put into Scheme so that I can deploy it to a bog standard VM on a cloud provider using Guix, and then live the Lisp dream of deploying quote unquote real world applications and scheme hacking in general. So the goal for today is to continue some work that I already started to move the publishing pipeline of the site to use Haunt as a static site generator, but I'm still going to use the same org mode files that I've written pretty much everything in for the site. So Emacs still is required for an early step in the process where I need to call out to Emacs to generate HTML files for all of the org files in the site, and then Haunt can read those in and turn it into necessary pages and be able to produce the final web pages with that. So I've gotten that sort of mostly working. I ran into some issues yesterday, and it's good that Dave's here because I might have some questions for him. But that part's going to be easy, and then we'll have to do some development on a local kind of test server, because how I envision this in the end is I'm going to host this using a Guix VM in the cloud. I'm going to have an Nginx front end as a reverse proxy, but it's also going to be serving these static pages. So I'm not going to let the Guile server serve the static pages because I don't want the Guile server to get overloaded. What I want is for Nginx to take care of that because it's very efficient at serving static pages. And then for the minimal number of dynamic requests that need to go through to the Guile server, those will get let through to enable some of the behavior. And the cool thing about this is that anything that's actually dynamic can kind of be pre-baked into the static pages using Datastar, because I'm just annotating things in the page so that they can make requests to the backend, but only when necessary. So for things like logging into the site and getting access to maybe the courses and things that you have access to, or whatever else is sort of a dynamic capability of the site, 99% of the people who go to the site won't ever hit a dynamic endpoint because they won't be logged in or they won't do anything that requires access to anything dynamic. So what we're really going to end up having here is a hybrid static/dynamic website where the majority of the pages are statically generated and served by Nginx, and then the rest of it's going to be kind of this small set of dynamic bits that are still being generated using SXML and everything else that we're using for the full site, all in Guile Scheme. So I think it's going to be pretty fun. It's a really interesting exercise in doing kind of a non-trivial but kind of customized and specific type of deployment using Scheme. Maybe it'll be a good example of how someone can, practically use Guile Scheme. All right, let's say another good example, because there's already a few Guile Scheme sites out there, but another good example of a Guile Scheme website that people can take a look at. We're going to have a few of those coming up pretty soon, including the Emacs packages website we've been working on in the Crafter Hour streams. Okay. Summer says, if you're not recoding the actual web engine in Guile or Scheme, your Guix creds suffer a touch in my eyes. I don't think so. Come on. Fade says, did everybody notice Hacker News is running on SBCL now? Yeah, they've ported Arc to SBCL, it sounds like, which is probably the right thing to do. I mean, Arc is kind of just like a dialect anyway, so why not just have it running on a reliable and industry tested Common Lisp implementation? Wax CA Tape says, isn't Common Lisp from the 80s? Well, maybe, but Lisp itself is from far earlier than that. Mervin says the Free Software Foundation turns 40 on the 4th. Is that true? I thought it already happened. M says, hi, I like Emacs. It was good to see news about Sprightly here. I've been planning to learn more about it, and Christine has a few videos on PeerTube about it. Yeah, we're big Sprightly fans here. We talk about Sprightly pretty often. Excuse me. Let's see. Summer says, you should rewrite Nginx and Scheme or Guile. No, I think that's a terrible idea. I know you're just pulling my leg, okay, Summer, but we're not doing that. That's a bad idea. Ashra says, simple paint-driven architecture next time for a website? No, man. Dave says, I like where this project is going. It's going to be fun. Nicolas says, somewhat related to the web hosting convo, I wonder what it would take to create an SXML equivalent for package for YAML, then produce Kubernetes manifest using Scheme. I mean, I think that would be... I can't immediately think of a reason why that wouldn't work, but there's probably some weird features of YAML that I'm not thinking of at the moment. Mike says there are packages for static site generators Hugo and Zola to transfer from org to Markdown. Is there something like that for Haunt? Well, Haunt can read in Markdown directly. I'll have to talk about what I did for getting org into Haunt though, because there is a package called OX Haunt, and I tried using it, and it did some things I didn't expect. Like some behavior, like if you create an org link in an org document and it has the file colon protocol in the link, for some reason it tries to treat that file link as an attachment. So if you use file colon to refer to relative org file paths to create HTML links to those files in the rendered HTML documents, like I do everywhere, then it tries to take your original org files and then pull them in as attachments to the generated HTML files. So I think that's kind of it probably makes sense for Jacob's specific use case, but it doesn't make sense for everybody. So I was like, all right, let me just try to like whittle down what I've already done exporting org files to HTML, because I've already got a lot of custom work done on that, and try to do it myself. And it does work the way that I do it. So let's see. Glenn says you should hack Haunt to support building directly from org. Well, I mean, writing an org parser and scheme would probably be required for that. And I don't know that we want to get into that. I mean, it would be interesting. I learned that Guile has PEG parsing. Has a PEG parsing library. Much like we saw in Janet. So Janet, one of the things that was interesting about that when we looked at it a few months back is it has a built-in PEG parser library. And apparently Guile does too. I didn't know that until Akites pointed it out, because he was trying to submit a fix to the PEG parsing library in Guile, and then that's how I learned. So PEG parser is often a lot of it's often easier to write those than trying to write some like regex-based parsing or anything else. So it can be pretty nice. Daphne says, don't forget Guile can run elisp. That's a good point, actually. Not out of the question you'd be able to use the actual org mode, org format parser, or at least adapt it with not too much difficulty. If someone could actually pull that out into a module that doesn't have a lot of dependencies, so it could just be used purely as like parsing a file and putting it into some intermediate data model that could be used by, let's say, a higher level org library or some other external tool, that would be pretty nice. Maybe it's already like that. I haven't looked at it. Dave says the easiest for org support in Haunt would be to shell out to Emacs batch mode. Yeah, that's basically what I'm doing now. I'm just doing it separately. I thought about trying to add it as my own reader, and it's totally doable to do it that way. But the reason why I didn't do it is because I didn't want to shell out to Emacs for every single one of my org files, because I have hundreds of them. So I don't want to like spawn a process every time. The alternative would be is if I could spawn Emacs either in daemon mode or just in a mode where I can kind of like have some way to send expressions to it, to just kind of blast it with a bunch of org publish requests to export the files that I need individually, so that I don't have to have the cost of spawning Emacs a million times. Dabby says Pandoc will let you get an ASC and JSON format and do whatever formatting you want yourself. That sounds good. What are we linking to here, Ashraz? I have to look at it on a different computer. Excuse me. I could pull that up. Let me see if I can pull that up. So that is 8p20.png. Okay, so this is the graph that Ashraz put together. Ashraz, what did you use to make this? Because it's pretty nice. Sort of like this. Okay, so the user makes a request to through Nginx on the server, and if it's a static file path, they would get the response back directly. Otherwise, the request would be reverse proxied over to not Guile and Hoot, but just a Guile scheme server application, and then whatever happens there would get returned back. So it would appear to be a coherent website, but it's sort of split in two. There's a static part and the dynamic part. Mermaid live, cool. All right, so I talked a lot about that. Do we all sort of understand why I'm doing what I'm doing and what it is that I'm actually doing? Then we can move on. So what have I done so far? Let me pull up the code. So I've got a branch on the System Crafters repository. It's not the main branch. It's not the main branch, but it is a side branch. If you go to the scheme conversion branch, you'll see some changes that I made into the publish.el file. So let's see if I can pull that up here. I got to remember how to do diffing. VC diff. How can I get the diff of the last commit? VC log history? Man. Emacs VC mode, how to get commit log. Somebody could probably tell me in the chat. Print log. Okay, XVL. No. Control X, V, Control H. Let's just see. There's log incoming, log outgoing. VC print root log. Thanks, Morgan. VC print root log. Thank you. Yes, right here. I want to look at the diff. How do I get to the diff? VC diff. All right, here we go. Cool. So in publish.el, one thing I did was rip out a lot of stuff. Because there's certain things I don't need anymore. So I did a lot of weird hacky things in my publish.el file to make it so that the links to things, or sorry, the pages on the website have more of that kind of, what do they call that? I mean, it's kind of like pretty URLs in a way where you don't have, excuse me, it's not guides.html, it's guides / and then it's like an index.html file so that things look a little bit cleaner. So if you were to click on like Emacs Essentials, you'll get a link like that. I prefer things that look like this. So I had to kind of hack that into my org publish logic inside of my publish.el file. I'm ripping that out because it appears that in recent months, let's say, maybe even a month or two ago, Haunt gained the ability to do that for me. So I'm going to try to use a new feature of Haunt that is not even released yet to do the same thing. Now, I'm not sure. Dave may be able to tell me, does that only work for flat pages or does it also work for blog posts? I'm not 100% sure. Maybe if I use a custom slug generator, then I can change that myself, potentially. Anyway, that's sort of where I'm going with that right now. I want to fix that up. Also, the templatization I was doing on the whole page is being deleted because I'm going to do that in Scheme instead. It's effectively going to look the same because it's SXML, but some of this stuff will have to, the logic will have to change a little bit. Left pad says custom slug generator. Yes, if you haven't dealt with many blog engines, a slug is basically the way that they take the title of a post and turn it into a URL friendly format that looks human readable. So, excuse me. Dave says publishers are in the latest release. I had to pull a commit hash to get the index functionality though. And I actually had trouble doing that in Guix on one machine. I think it had cached a build or something and did something weird. But anyway, we'll take a look at that in a little bit. All right, so I ripped out a lot of the templating. I also had to deal with a weird issue. When Haunt reads in an HTML file. Okay, let me back up for a second. Previously, publish.el would print out, what year is it? It would emit a whole folder of HTML files from my org documents using the System Crafters overall HTML layout with a CSS theme applied. And then I just push that stuff to wherever I'm hosting the HTML files, and then it goes live. Now, what will happen is that Emacs will publish to very bare looking HTML files that only have the content of the page with a little bit of metadata on the top that Haunt can read. Then Haunt reads in the actual HTML. The built-in HTML reader in Haunt is parsing the HTML document that's inside of that file, and turning it into S expressions for use in SXML, and then that gets used to produce the actual pages. It turns out that the built-in XML parser for the SXML library is quite strict, and it's choked on a number of things that are in the output, the HTML output of the pages. So I asked Dave about that, and Dave helpfully gave me a suggestion to use the HTML Prag parser that comes with the Guile lib library. I've never used Guile lib before. If you don't know about Guile lib, well, it exists. It's like a helper library that has a lot of useful stuff in there. The web page looks pretty old, but it has stuff in there that you might need, and HTML Prag is one of them. So I nabbed some code from the Sprightly Institute website that Dave pointed me to, which uses that reader instead, or creates a, excuse me, it creates a new HTML reader. In fact, how about I just go look at the code and show you. So I'm pulling in the HTML Prag library. This is my haunt.scm file. To roll back once again, you've never used Haunt before. Haunt is a static site generator, which is basically a program that can take in a haunt.scm file, and that file should return a site record, which is created using this expression, the site expression. That's a procedure. And then it will do the work of building all of your static HTML pages for you. And it's all scheme code, as you can see, so you can pull in whatever modules you want. You can replace certain things to get different behavior. You can choose which readers and publishers you want, a reader being something that can read the content of a file to be used as website content, and a publisher is publisher, right? Builder is a thing that will take the files that are being read in and turn them into the HTML pages, okay? Benoit says, oh, rebuilding the site with Haunt? Sort of. It's a little bit more than that. Haunt is one part of it. Loading up Red Hat dependencies? What are we talking about? Benoit says, are we fixing the wiki site? Not right now. The wiki site probably needs to go away. I think we need to change our approach on that. Okay, so, going back to where we were before, I'm unrolling the spool here. We are making a better HTML reader, which uses the built-in API for Make Reader. We're matching the files with HTML extension, and we're calling the read HTML post procedure that I put here, which came from the Sprightly website code. All it really does is call this HTML to SHTML procedure that comes from the HTML Prag library that parses everything there into S expressions in that same format. Benoit says, so Haunt is a part of a big SE website plan? Yes. Hybrid static dynamic. Excuse me. So best case scenario, once I make this transition, you will see virtually no difference in the previous Emacs generated version to what you see afterward, because it's all the same static content. Hybrid static dynamic. This is the future of system crafters. Yes. Mervin says activity pub via scheme. Maybe. I mean, I guess we could do some activity pub like things. Okay. So let me get back to what I was thinking. Let's actually show what's happening so far. Say it with more gravitas. Okay. Hybrid static dynamic. This is the future of system crafters. Terrible. I don't have enough of that kind of deep grit. I needed to like throw really heavy compression on that for it to really come through, I think. Anyway. So let's get back to the publish.el file. This is the cut down version of it. In fact, I probably should go ahead and run it. Let me make sure that I don't have anything else in here. I'm changing how things get created. I'm gonna delete this public folder because that's the previous output folder. Ashra says, I'll get a mic someday and record it. There you go. Benoit says, did the work actually start? Well, I've already started the work off stream, but we are going to start looking at the actual work now. Okay, so what I have here is a script that will first launch Emacs using run command, which comes from I think it's Haunt Publisher. So it's a little command in there. Probably don't need that though. I think I can just use System Star now that I looked at the code today. So let's use System Star. We're gonna call into Emacs to run that publish.el file. And then that's gonna export all of the org files to HTML files into the org output folder. So that's one of the other things I changed in the publish.el file. Org output is now the folder path where all of the HTML files go after that step of the process. It's sort of like a temporary working space for the generated HTML output. Then the Haunt configuration takes over. In our site config, you can see here that I'm using a flat pages builder, and that's a relatively new thing in Haunt. It didn't exist last year, I think, whenever I used it. But what it does is take a folder full of non-blog post files that are meant to be just sort of static or flat pages on the website, and it just runs them through the same type of pipeline. You're able to give it a site template procedure, which I don't know what Ashra's talking about. You give it a site template procedure, which is basically used to give like the template of the website around the content. So we have full control over that. And then that will generate a new set of HTML output files, which will be the final files used for the site. We also have the static directory builder, which takes the content files under the assets folder, which is like CSS files, images, etc., and just dumps them into the output folder, which is the public folder. So we're going back to the same public folder that we were using before. We just use that intermediate org output folder for the HTML files that Emacs emits. Okay, so I can try to run this. In fact, I have a Guix.scm file here that packages this stuff up so that I can build it with Guix. So I've created a package definition for the website. I'm just using the local directory for the source of the package, so we don't have to do anything fancy for that. I'm using, obviously, Guile 3, and we've got Guile lib, Guile fibers, Guile SQLite 3, Guile JSON, because we'll need that for Datastar. Haunt latest, which is my own package, and then the two things that we need from Emacs. So I guess we don't need OX Haunt anymore because I've stopped using that for the reasons I mentioned previously. I had to make my own version of Haunt package, which I'm doing by inheriting from the Haunt package and just changing the source to use a specific commit. The Sprightly Institute website just rewrites the package definition entirely. If the problems that I was having with this package definition persist, I might have to go take what they did. But for now, I think this is going to work. So I'm basically just changing the commit to the latest. So if I were to look at the Haunt Guile website and go to the Git repository, you can see that the latest commit in the repo is this 8B4B14D whatever. You can see that I'm using the latest commit. So that's what I'm building here. So let's use metax compile and run Guix shell -D because we want the development dependencies of the file Guix.scm. And then inside of that, we're going to run haunt build. Hopefully that works. So we're going to pull some things down now. Let's see what happens. Let's see. One dependency couldn't be built. See, this is what I thought was happening before. Something weird happened where, for some reason, Guix, when I changed the commit hash I was using, and it didn't rebuild it. And I was wondering why, because I felt like I would have had to update the SHA-256 hash for the repo contents, but it never asked me to. So that was weird. But now it makes sense. All right, we're going to rerun that now to get the latest stuff. Hey, Alejandro. All right, let's see. Dave says, I don't know if anyone building a site with Haunt quite like what you're doing here. Well, it's going to be a good experiment. We're going to see how well it works. All right, so we see that it's going through the process of generating all of the org files into the intermediate output. Continuing to go. It takes a while for my site to build because I got so many files. Yeah, definitely, Dave. I will be doing that for sure. I would love to contribute. All right, it keeps going and going and going. Come on. All right, and then it starts to build all of the individual pages using Haunt. So now we've got Haunt doing its output, and it doesn't seem like it's using the index setting as I expected to. So maybe Dave will have an opinion on this in a second, but you'll see what I mean when I pull it up. Also, no matching pattern, allow full screen. Does this still get choked on that? I thought I fixed that file. Maybe I didn't check it in. Let me go to content live.org, because I know that's the one that has it. Allow full screen. It used to be a pattern for iframe video embeds to use something called allow full screen as an attribute name with no equal quotation marks after it. So it was just like a word in there, and HTML parsers regularly get tripped up on that. So apparently there's a newer formulation of that, which is allow equals full screen, which fixes the problem. So at least we have that to help us here. Now I'm going to rebuild it. And, well, let's see. Oh, you know, I made the mistake to force it to always rebuild from org. So we're going to have to wait for that again, but that's fine. WaxCA Tape says, is there any way to compute the cache for a given package without having to crash the first build? Yeah, but I'm lazy, so I just let Guix tell me whenever the hash is different than what it should be, and I use the hash that it gives me. That's probably not safe from like an OPSEC standpoint, but whatever. This is not like, you know, rocket science that we're doing here. Again? LeftPad says, he. Yeah, okay, LeftPad. Calm down there, buddy. Okay, I'm pretty sure it's still the same page. All right, let me... yeah, live at HTML. Why is it still doing that? I thought it would have regenerated this page already. Full screen. Ah, I'm an idiot. It was in a comment. That explains everything. Okay. Let me go over to publish.el. I don't want it to be regenerating everything every time. So let's take that true out. I wanted to use the cached files. See you, Summer. Bye, Summer Emacs. All right, we're skipping unmodified files here. Dave says, there is, but it's usually more annoying than doing a failed build first. That's what I learned. I actually tried to be a good citizen and download the actual repository and do a hash of the contents. And what I found is that's way slower and more tedious and annoying than just doing the cheesy thing, which is let Guix tell me what the actual hash is and then just copy and paste it. I'm sure a lot of people probably do that. Okay, Haunt serve. Let me just serve this little thing. It's gonna try to run that again. I probably should find out how to tell whether we're serving or not, so I don't try to invoke Emacs when that happens. I guess I could probably just look at the let's see, Guile command line arguments. Command line handling. Okay, command line the procedure. I should know that already. Okay, so the CSS is not working, probably because I hard-coded the path in. But you can see that the site builds. It doesn't have the whole... Oh, the reason why it doesn't have everything else on it right now is because I haven't put the actual theme of the site in, which we're going to do in a minute. We're going to port it over from the original ESXML to SXML in Guile. So right now, these are just like the raw page contents. So if I click on Absolute Beginner's Guide to Emacs, it's going to fail because I need to put the HTML at the end. And there it is, okay? And the video embed seems to work. So all that works. The content is there, okay? And that's a site that's being built and served with Haunt. Fade says, what are those typesetting symbols? If you've never noticed before, on the System Scrapper's website, I've very helpfully added little anchors that you can click on to get a link to the specific heading. So if you're in a tutorial on the site, which probably I should tell people this so they know that it's there. If you click on a heading, you can send it to somebody. Like if I want to send them this Finding Emacs 28 heading directly, I can do that. So I kind of like, that's another little customization I put into the generation. Okay, excuse me. So what was I gonna do next? We need to port the styles over. There was something before that though. I don't know where I learned that from, but I think I must have seen it in documentation sites enough times. I was like, you know, that's something that would be good to have, and it's helpful for people, so why not just put it in there myself? Okay, I want to put the smart quotes thing back in. I want to see if this works. Because smart quotes was being really problematic with the other really strict HTML reader. I'm hoping that that won't be the case anymore. Okay, I'm still in the right place. So compile, let's go to build again. If you don't know what that smart quote setting is, it basically turns the straight single quotes into like curly quotes to make the text look a little bit better on the site. So if I can retain that behavior, which I already have on the site, I would like to. But strict HTML parser sometimes will choke on that because it uses, I forgot what you call them. The special syntax for characters, basically. Okay, it looks like it's not choking on it this time, which is good. Does it smart quote Lisp quotes? I don't know. That's a good question, actually. I wonder if it leaves them alone inside of code blocks. Yeah, I wonder. Let's see. I need to go serve it again, but there was something else I feel like I was missing. Oh, right. So, Dave, my understanding from looking at the Haunt code is that inside of, I'm gonna have to, well, you know, I should probably just pull this repo down so that we don't have to stare at this screen the whole time. So how about I just do that? I'm gonna copy this link. I'm gonna go into an E shell. Drop down one level, git clone. All right, and then I'm gonna go into Haunt. What is it? Builder and flat pages. Then there is index right here. Okay, look. Inside of the flat pages builder, there is a little part of code here that creates a binding called index question mark. It looks at the metadata for the page for a symbol called index and tries to check if it's true, the string true, okay? I am putting that in the default metadata for the site, index true. That should be right, I think, but it doesn't seem to get picked up because the pages are not being generated with the index.html style of URL. Now, I tried to look into this in the actual code that's being pulled down from the repo, and I was getting some weird results on that on my other machine, but I'm gonna try to look at it here. Because we do have the, what appears to be the right commit under share, Guile, site 3.0, Haunt, builder, flat pages. This one has it. So in theory, that should be working. But it's not. I don't know why. My understanding from looking at the rest of the code is that the default metadata always gets merged in. Default metadata isn't used for flat pages. Why not though? Because what I thought was that the that like somewhere higher up in the pipeline, it was getting merged in. So it's like for everything. But maybe you're right though. Maybe it's not being merged in. If it's not, then that would explain why it's not working. And I would have to go on every single page, which honestly, I can do that. Why not just do that? I have control over the metadata generation in publish.el, so I'll just go do that. That works for me for now. So title colon, there it is. Index colon true. There we go. Let's regenerate everything. Now, did I tell it to regenerate it? Let's see. There it is. Okay, publish all true. Let's do that then. Go back and compile. Well, we'll find out in a second, but it must be that because I'm putting it in default metadata. It's not getting picked up, so it must be that it's not being merged in somewhere. Okay. Republishing all files. And I think this only works for flat pages anyway, so it doesn't matter for other types of pages that we don't really care too much about. Eventually, I'm going to use Haunt for the RSS generation as well, whenever I have news pages mixed in. Might be good to not have it in default metadata anyway, since it's adding noise to post metadata. Maybe so. What are you complaining about now? Invalid. Oh, did I screw something up? Let's see. Let's take a look at the org output files. Videos. No. Emacs from scratch. Emacs Essentials. There we go. Let's look at this one. Okay, I screwed that up. Why is there... Why is it a Control H? What the hell did I do? Did I do that instead of N? Index colon. Wow, I put /B. How the hell did that happen? Suppose they're close to each other. Okay. So that should be fine now. We got 1 hour left. We got plenty of time here. Actually, we've got about 40 minutes left. I got to get off a little bit early. Oshar says, I'm a bit confused. Emacs org is still being used for the content and the HTML pages. What is Haunt being used for then? I'll tell you why it's being used. Because when I have dynamic pages, which will happen in certain cases, I need to use the same page template. So when I have a fully dynamic page, it needs to look the same as the static pages. So if I have the real static page generation using the exact same template function for the static pages and the dynamic pages, then you get the same look in the end. Okay, so looking at the output files now, it does seem that the index files are being created correctly. That's great. So that did get fixed. Thanks, Dave, for pointing that out. And I think we're good on that part. So next step would be to move on and copy the templating that I was doing before in the publish.el file. Let's see, embed list form. I'll probably need that. Site header, site footer, and generate page. All these will be probably needed. Actually, I want to look at the previous version of this file. So let's see, view file. Site header, site footer. Come on. I'm just going to copy and paste my own code because that's the kind of developer I am. Okay, so in haunt.scm, which eventually I'm going to pull these out into separate modules because this is going to become really gross otherwise, more or less. Let's see. Let me just take a quick look at this. We're going to reformat some of these things. Define DW site header. I'm just going to call it site header because why not? All right, we got that. And pretty much everything else is the same. Site URL, that will probably need to change contextually. So define site URL. We'll just say for now that it's localhost 8080. This needs to be string append. Everything else should be good because SXML, thankfully, is fairly consistent. This one is now defined. Site footer. Okay. Anything else there? Let's see, concat. So I'm going to go change all concat instances to string append. There we go. All right, all that looks fine. DW slash, I'll just replace that with nothing. And then I'm not gonna do this commit hash thing right now. I'm gonna leave it as it is. This one also needs to be defined. And then we can have the parameters be here, and this can now be key. This can be defined star. I don't know if I'm gonna use this exact same approach here. This may be simplified, but I think I can just have these be key with no extra parens on them to have default parameters, or sorry, default values. All right, anything else in here that needs to be changed? String append. When and unless, all good. If let. I don't know if Guile has if let. Let's load up Geyser real quick. No if let. That's fine. I mean, it's basically just a let with an if. Or a let with a when, let's say. Video ID, plist get. Okay, that needs to probably... I think I already have that somewhere. In fact, let me check publish.el. In this case, video. The whole container stuff here, probably the generate page itself is not needed. The outside wrapper is needed. But the place where we start with the body or div container, this stuff right here is not needed. So let's see, container site post. Published date. All right, so unless exclude header, site header, excuse me. Embed list form, unless exclude footer, site footer. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Let's go back real quick and make sure that this is all lining up. Okay, looks good. We got generate page there. Now, what we need to do, site template is what we've been using before. I'm going to change the definition of this other function here to be site template. Actually, maybe I won't do that yet. Maybe I'll leave it as is in case we needed to do anything special. So here, generate page, title, body. What was in generate page? Title, content, info. So let's see. Bump, bump, bump. And this probably needs to go here. So we're going to splice in body. Oh, content. Did I see that before? Content. All right, there we go. Embed list form, we'll take this out for a second. Site header, site footer, content. Okay, I think everything else is good. Take that out. All right, so now hopefully we can try to run this. Excuse me. I'm going to take the invoke of Emacs out temporarily because I don't want it. Why? No, we don't need this. Emacs. There we go. Let's get this out of here for a second. Okay. So back in the compilation buffer, we're going to rerun this. Okay, so unexpected end of input, check parens. It's in this file, or sorry, this procedure somewhere. If I keep going down. Okay, so we're missing an end paren somewhere. Whoops. All right. Rerun it. Wrong number of arguments to which procedure? It must be this one. Oh, I think I missed something on calling generate page. What was it? Info. All right, let's take info out. That was an org specific thing. All right, this time SXML to XML. So SXML to XML, this is an arrow. In fact, wait a second. We don't want that because Haunt wants SXML. So let's just take that whole thing out. I'm gonna go to the end here. I'm gonna kill the rest of these parens. All right. So now I think we're good on that. Peter's recommending a library called ELTR. Would something be like an external REPL and not be more an elegant way to integrate from scripts to Emacs rather than shelling out the Emacs batch mode? Yeah, we were talking about something like that before. It would be nice if we could do that. All right. So generate page title body. Let's run it again. This time, wrong type expecting string. True title. Primer on Guile match expressions. Site title body. And this is happening where? String append. Okay. We got a string append somewhere. String append. Huh. Something weird is happening. What is the template function supposed to return? Let's go look at the Haunt documentation. So here's the manual. Actually, I can go look at the flat pages source code because there is a default template now. Okay, so doc type HTML, I should probably copy that. Whoops. So in generate page. Because that's what Dave's doing. And I trust Dave, so maybe he's right. So doc type HTML, head, body. And body itself is also being, oh, metadata is a second parameter. That would explain what the problem is. So, no, it's not title. Site metadata body. And then we need to use a seek ref to get the title out. Let's see. There we go. So when we call generate page, I need to pull that out. It's okay. A list and then key is title body. All right. Building pages in public. Here we go. So now if I go reload the local version of the page, oh, haven't used Haunt serve yet. Here we go. Now let me check what the actual HTML content is because something's weird here. Inspector, doc type HTML, HTML, head, cool. What is the unspecified here for? Probably it returned a weird value, unless exclude header. Ah, okay, so they're not even turned on. That explains it. So, oh, no. Wait. You know, okay, yeah. Unless exclude header. Site header. And what is site header returning? Ah, a list. Why did I do that? Probably some quirk of ESXML. I think I need to delete one there. Okay, that does that. And that takes care of that. Okay. Should turn on keycast. Does it rebuild? All right, so we're gonna compile again to run serve. Okay, we're serving. Even worse, what the hell happened? Header. What in the hell? Switzer says, "Hi guys, I'm new to Emacs, just learning about it and stumbled on the stream. What is Streamer doing?" Streamer is working on a website. I'm converting an Emacs build of my website to use Scheme instead. All right. Weird. Does the site CSS get pulled in right? CSS site.css? No. Why not? Okay, that's there. Is that the right path? Is that the path I expect? All right, so maybe this should not be a splice, okay? Because we're just sort of dropping the result directly in as probably part of the confusion. Ashraz was nerd snipe for the last 15 minutes. We're just making a little bit of progress here. I probably need to... That's probably why I had it as a list then. I need to splice it in. All right, let's just back it up, 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 back it up. I mean, it's a little bit nutty what I'm doing here too. I don't know exactly why I did it that way. Because really what I should do is this. Uh-huh, okay. And then this. Is that too many? Okay, fine. All right, so we got site header, site footer. So unless exclude header, site header, we're gonna do an if here instead. The hell? The hell? Get out of here. iSearch is just taking over my life here. If. Okay. It's starting to piss me off, iSearch. Get out of my face. What happened to my Emacs session? Crikey. Okay, there we go. That is ugly, but accurate. There we go. Let's build it. Fade says the REPL story in Guile kind of makes me feel bad for you. This is not a REPL problem. This is a running a program problem, okay? Because if you were to watch the Crafter Hour streams, you would see that I am REPLing like a mofo. And building the website from scratch in the REPL. So it does work. So all right, where's title? Where is title? When head extra, add head extra. When do I ever have head extra? That's probably why I've got that weird stuff in there. Faye says, I'm sleeping at 2 a.m. Yeah, the recordings are on the website if you're interested. I know you watched one of them. They are fun streams. Ooh, entity. Look at that. The entity thing. That's happening because of the smart quotes. What a mess. All right, let's turn that back off in the publish. Smart. Not so smart. So, head. The header is there. Footer, is the footer there? Can we see it? No. The footer, for some reason, is not there. I don't think. That's all the content. Actually, the header's not there either. So why not? So body, if exclude header. Unspecified, and then title? What? Something really wrong is happening right now. Leftpad says, I, the almighty entity, will teach you about turning me off. Okay. Run the generator with a stepper. I don't play like that, man. I know it's probably better if I did that. Content is in there. If, oh. That explains everything. That's the logic that unless was doing. Yeah, I don't care too much about the smart quotes. It's not really worth the pain. All right, so now do we have the right stuff? Header, site header, site footer. Do we see the footer? Yeah, we see the footer. It's just that the CSS is not being loaded. That's the reason why we have that problem. CSS is under. All right, so for the static files in the Haunt config, static directory, assets, where's the output path? Can I set the output path? Let me go up here and eval the, oh, no code for module. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. So go to flat pages. Nope. Flat. God. Flat pages. Man. You're really going to give me some trouble, aren't you? So static. Dest. Okay, so the optional dest key is what I'm looking for. So it's not assets. I want it to be root, let's say. Let's see if that works. We'll be able to tell pretty easily once we see where things get pushed to. Wrong number of arguments to procedure static directory. Really? Did I screw that up somehow? Oh, it's an optional parameter. Oh, what? Okay, static files seem to be going so long as they're really in the right place. Let's see. Public CSS site.css. All right, so this should work this time. We should be able to see the full site layout. Wow. Okay, so it eventually loaded. Just got to regenerate things so that all that crap is not in there anymore. All right, that's looking pretty good. Except for the unspecified at the top. What did I put at the very beginning? There's something in there that's just gumming up the works. It's probably this head extra part. So if head extra, you know, I don't know what the head extra is. I'm gonna leave it out. It's probably got some purpose, but I'll just have to figure that out later. Excuse me. Okay, so I will go regenerate the stuff from Emacs really quickly. And then have it all be rebuilt. Did I turn off caching again? Yeah, I wonder if I could just tell it to not convert those to entities. I wonder if that would work. Okay, so compilation finished. If I go over to the site, you know, to run the serve first, reload the site. There you go. Oh, whoa, don't do that. Ah. I really needed to be able to detect whenever I'm running it as serve or not. Let me take this, what was it? Oh, I already took it out. Okay, fine. Hurry up. I must have put a period in the file somewhere. The hell? Let's take that out. I don't know what happened. Okay, so that looks right. That looks just fine. So now we have the website. That's weird. Okay. I need to do special checks in the publish file to not add the index thing. Hey, Brongulus. Index colon. I need to make sure that I don't put index true unless the actual path is an index file. Maybe I won't worry about that just yet. It's kind of ridiculous, but let's go with it for now because I need to make progress. All right, we got about 15 minutes left. So what should I do next? All right, so the point is, now that I have this website content generated statically, there's two ways that it could be loaded and used. Obviously, you saw it being used from within Haunt serve, but that's not really the way that I want the code to be used. What I really want is for there to be a server implementation that is for development purpose. Well, so the server implementation will be used both in development and production, but the development, when you run the Guile server in development, it will serve the static assets as if it was the only server and not as if it has Nginx also. And maybe it's just maybe it's better just to have it serve the static files anyway, and let Nginx intercept the request to static files on a production server. So maybe we'll just do that anyway. So what we're gonna do is to have a server. Let's see. I'm trying to think of the best way to start this. We have a way to do this in the Emacs packages project. So Emacs packages, where is it? Right here. I have the code locally. Why don't I just use that, huh? All right, so server, we have this, and that is starting up a Fibers web server. I mean, I guess we're gonna do something similar anyway, so I might as well just copy my own code, right? I don't need the DB part, but let's go back over to Haunt. We're gonna go to source site server.sem. We're gonna put that in here, yes. We'll take the DB parts out for now. We will ultimately need that. Let's see. The logger we're probably going to need. I mean, I guess I should be copying and pasting some code, but I don't know if I want to go so far. Some of these things I want to factor out at some point into a library or libraries that can be reused between projects, but that's for another day. That's obviously not now. So we need the logger, we need the context, we need the routes. So I could probably do that. If I go over to the server page here, I'm going to open up a DRED view. No, I wanted that to be side by side. I guess it doesn't matter. All right, so that's Emacs packages site. We go to this one, open up a DRED view, go to source, site. Now I want routes and logger and context over on site. I'm just going to run this here. Boom. All right, so we got that copied over. Those should be fine. I need to update routes, obviously. Logger is fine. Context is fine-ish. Yeah, we don't have anything specific in there. That's fine. Because eventually I will need a database on the site, so might as well, you know, have some inkling of that in play. The CSS stuff I will do eventually, but for now I'm just going to get rid of it because I don't really want that in here. So let me just get rid of the CSS part. Handle request. Let's see, let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of all of these. Come on. Those all look safe. Handle request. Now, for our match expression for any URI, for anything that we don't recognize as an actual route to be handled, I think we're just going to end up loading the content directly. We may need to do some special behavior based on file extension, but let's not think about that too much right now. So we'll probably need like PNG, CSS, HTML, and perhaps zip. There's going to be some others that are going to be needed for the local stuff, so we will have to deal with those in a minute. But I'm going to take these all out. And let's see, handler. Okay, so we're going to call this a define static file handler, context request body. Actually, static file handler context. Maybe we don't need context file path or URI. Let's say that. Lambda context request body. All right. And then this is where we're going to do the lookup for the file. Everybody still with me? Got a little bit of time left. I just want to have a static server set up. Sorry, a Guile server setup that serves these files. And then we could, another day or another time, or maybe I'll just do it myself off stream. We'll do some of the dynamic behavior that I was talking about. It's just we're setting up the framework to make this possible, I guess we can say. Okay, so static file handler. I don't know if there's already something in. I don't think there's anything in the Guile web framework for this, so we have to sort of implement it ourselves. File exists. If file exists, we need to rejoin the URI. This URI path, URI, string split path. I guess we have it, don't we? We have path. So what we'll do here is return static file handler path, okay? There we go. And file exists, path relative to the public folder. So string append public/path. And if it does exist, we will return, let's see, values. And for now, we're just going to assume content type. Excuse me. I guess we don't have to. We can rip the file extension off the path. Guile file path. I don't know. File system. Extension. I know there's a function for this. Or at least I thought there was. Maybe there's not. Index. Procedure index. Huh. What if I go over to the haunt code? Strip extension, string append, file extension. Where's file extension coming from? Haunt utils. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, of course. Got to write our own file extension procedure in Guile Scheme. Yeah, this is GPL license. I'm not going to rip this out of here. There's another way to do this, which is not the greatest, but it's probably okay for a short 5-minute thing. Maybe I shouldn't even bother. Let's just go back to what we were doing. Content type, text, HTML. So we're trying to send the content back. So call with input file. Actually, I should probably do this. Static path, read. What is it called? Copy it, don't worry about GPL. Okay. I have permission of the author of the code, or one of the authors of the code. Use module ICE9 textual ports. I just did this today. Guile textual ports. Textual IO. Get all. Get string all. What was it called? Get string all. That needs to be closed. I'm a little concerned about binary files though, so maybe that's not the best approach. In fact, is there a way to do this with... Let's see, binary IO. Because we kind of want a byte vector, don't we? Get byte vector all. So it's the same thing. Can we do that? Maybe that's the way to do this. All right, there we go. So different. Let's see, ports. So I'm not sure. Is there like a particular way that I have to open a binary port to Open output byte vector. Binary port accumulate bytes. Okay. Can't remember if there's a special version of this stuff or like a parameter I need to send to these. Call with input file. Ah, there it is. Binary. Got it. So file proc, and then there's an optional parameter binary. I'm guessing it's true. So what did we see from that? Was it get byte vector all? Yeah. Let's see. I'm curious if this is going to work. All right, static file handler, static file handler. Huh. I got to get this done in like 1 minute. And I got a feeling it ain't going to work. Okay, so we got the routes and the server code. Let's go over to the compilation buffer and kill that. We also need the start server script, which is basically that. And then we're going to create that folder. We're going to go into an E shell and cd systemcrafters.net chmod x scripts start server. Oh, and I need to also throw in a couple things. Guix shell df guix.scm and guile-l source. Actually, that should already have been handled. That should be handled. There we go. So let's try this now. Where is it? Unbound variable DB. That's probably in routes DB. Context. Where was it anyway? Server.scm. Server.scm. DB. All right, there it is. Make context false because I don't care right now. Wrong number of arguments to /index. Static file handler path. There's path. Routes.stm handle request 34. Handler context body. Static file handler path, handler context. Oh, okay, I got the wrong number of parameters there probably. There we go. That explains it. Fport read is a directory. Ooh. Okay, so we need to do a little bit of logic on that. Index.html. All right, so it's kind of working. The binary read did work. I haven't actually loaded up the images correctly yet, but at least we're seeing that it is possible. Wrong number of values returned to continuation. That's interesting. Funny that one of them worked, but the rest did not work. Okay. Live. Okay, so some of them do work. All right. Well, I think we made some progress. All right. It's not perfect. Definitely not perfect, but you know, it's a work in progress. We didn't really expect to get everything working by the end, but we did get the static site generation with Haunt working, which is cool. All of the files seem to be working the way that they were previously. Sans smart quotes, which who cares? And then the basics for the self-hosted server that serves the static files, but then that's also going to be the basis for the dynamic parts of the website. So I think it's a pretty good stopping point for today. I'm going to commit this code to the scheme conversion branch of the System Crafter site repository, not that one. I think it's over here. Just if you go to the System Crafter site repository on Codeberg, you can go look at the scheme conversion branch and see the state of the code. I'll probably come back to this again after I have made more progress with it to show like what the actual end-to-end thing looks like, because what I ultimately want to see on the website is some place where you can click to like log in, and that will cause you to log in with your forum account, and then when you are logged in, it should show you your username for the forum here. But that will all be from a static website, and it will only do requests whenever necessary to check whether you're logged in or not. So there's some kind of magic I want to do there that will kind of show what I consider to be potentially the power of this sort of hybrid static dynamic thing, because we won't have to be doing a whole bunch of queries on the back end for some of the dynamic behavior. Some of it would just be sort of cached or something. We'll see. Dave says, nice start. Thanks, man. I appreciate your help on that today. Kind of excited about the potential for this to do some other cool stuff in the future. So thank you all for your time and attention today. Check out the show notes that I'm going to commit to right after this. I'm also going to commit the code from today to that branch that I mentioned. Leave any notes in the comments you have, thoughts you have, feedback, and find us on the System Crafters IRC, irc.libra.chat. Channel is System Crafters if you want to chat more about it there. And I hope you all have a nice weekend. Until next time, happy hacking. We'll see you.